Hello students, how are you all? Hope you all were enjoyed your winter breaks very well. But now welcome to the science class, and today we will revise chapter number 10, force, work and energy. So in this chapter we will start first of all about force. What is a force? A force is a push or pull acting on an object. When we apply push on an object, when we apply pull on an object, that push and pull which is acting on an object is called force. Here some pictures are given here. In this picture you have to identify each action that it is a pull or a push. In first picture, this is a picture of pull. Next, a man push the refrigerator, and in the last third one, boy push the ball. Okay. Now what can a force do? A force can move an object, stop a moving object, change the shape of an object, change the speed and direction of a moving object. Okay. Here pictures are given. In the first picture, a footballer uses force to kick the football away. Here is a footballer. He uses force to kick the football away. Okay. In the next, the goalkeeper uses force to stop the football shot towards him. And in the third one, we use force to squeeze the toothpaste tubes. So in all these figures, how can we able to do some work? By the help of force. Okay. Now next is forces in nature. There are two types of forces in nature that we experience every day. First is gravitational force, next is frictional force. Now, first is gravitational force. What is gravitational force? Throw a ball high up in the sky. When you throw up a ball high up in the sky, it first goes upwards, but after it, it comes down to the ground. So, why does this happen? Why does the ball comes to the ground? Because due to the gravitational force, due to the force of gravity. And this force of gravity, this gravitational force is called gravitational force of earth. This is because earth pulls all objects towards itself with some force, and that force is known as gravitational force or force of gravity. It is earth's gravity that pulls back a ball that is thrown up. Okay students, so even we also remain attached to earth due to earth's gravity. We prevents us from flying away. Earth's gravity prevents us from flying away. And here water in the ponds, lakes, rivers, seas also remains on earth due to also earth's gravity. The gravitational force of earth also holds the air that surrounds us. To lift a box, we have to apply a force on it, and when we have to apply a force on it, what can we do? We can overcome the force of gravity. That's why we can able to lift that box. Okay students, so next one is friction. What is the force of friction? Here is an activity is given. We already read this activity in our class. Now, in this activity given, that is force is applied on a moving object against the direction of motion, and that force which against the direction of motion, that is known as friction force. Friction force moves the stop object and stops the moving object. Okay. was any force applied against the motion of the toy car, that is known as friction force. Here the above activity suggests that invisible force which was acting on that toy car, which opposed the motion of the toy car, that invisible force is known as friction force, and it acts when an object moves or tries to move over another surface. A rough surface offers greater force of friction than a smooth surface. Okay? A rough surface offers greater force of friction than a smooth surface. That's why we move easily on a rough surface than a smooth surface, because on smooth surface there is a less force of friction. Friction also helps us to walk. Friction helps our feet to get a grip on the ground, which enables us to walk. We have to walk very carefully on a wet surface, on a slippery surface, on a smooth surface. Why? Because it offers almost no friction. For example, an icy surface offers very little friction, so our feet do not get a grip on ice and we may slip over it. Friction also helps a vehicle to grip the ground. This causes the vehicles to move, and the vehicles would skid on a smooth road that gives no friction, which could lead to accidents. That's why we need to also replace the tires of a car after a few years. Why? Because after a few years the tires loses the force of friction. Friction also causes wear and tear. Soles of our shoes, the sleepers wear out over time due to friction, and friction also causes the tires of a vehicle to wear out. That's why we had to replace the tires. We need to replace the tires, we need to replace the shoes, sleepers over a few times after a few years. Why? Because they causes wear and tear, and they reduce force of friction, which may cause accidents, which may slip over it. Okay students, so this is the topic of force, and I hope you all will understand this. Remaining chapter, work and energy, we will discuss in the next video. Here on the basis of explanation, a worksheet is given here. You have to complete this worksheet. First question is fill up. A force is a dash or a dash acting on an object. Next one, when we jump up, dash pulls us back on earth. Question 2, name 2 types of forces that we experience every day. Question 3, what does the force of friction do? And the last question is, how does friction helps us to walk? Okay students, so you have to complete this worksheet in your science notebook. Okay, thank you students.